Yes, he was, and he was giving us the countdown that we're all live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Dlight Sair, the podcast for everything Brawlhalla. My name is Taza, and I will be one of your two hosts for today's show. My co-host being none other than the world's best Brawlhalla, Boomie. How's it going?
It's going good.
Brawlhalla player, not Brawlhalla Boomie, but
yeah,
that was probably the best way that intro could have gone.
And we're joined. It's going good, dude. And we're joined by Dobrein Boo. Notorious for 25th place at the Brawlhalla Winter Championship, as well as Isidroo GB. Welcome, boys, to the podcast.
You don't even have a blurb for Isidroo? Like what?
Isidroo, Axe player.
Axe player, yeah.
Axe player.
Recently playing Orb now.
Played Rayman that one time in tournament.
I would have won too if it wasn't for setups.
Yeah. That's pretty sick. No, welcome. You two. Thank you for being here on the show. We have a lot to talk about. Last week was our premiere episode. We talked a lot about, actually, we only talked about esports. A lot of it went into final round. We'll talk a little bit about the offline tournaments that are coming up this year. But mostly today, we brought Dobrein and Isidroo on because they've both been exploring with the newest weapon that the public doesn't really know much about, Orb. And they've both been doing the two respective legends. Isidroo's been playing a lot of Dusk. Dobrein on a lot of Fait. So that's what you have to look forward to today. Boomie, why don't you take us away with the offline tournament announcement that came out over the last week?
Okay, so Brawlhalla will be making feature stops at Final Round, DreamHack Dallas, DreamHack Summer, CEO 2019, Low Tier City 7, Shine 2019, DreamHack Montreal, DreamHack Rotterdam, and the World Championship at DreamHack Atlanta once again.
So that's like 5 DreamHack events, 2 in Europe, 3 in North America, because we include Canada, North America. 3 FGC events. How many FGC events did Brawlhalla have last year? Did it have any, or was it all DreamHack?
They're all DreamHack.
Yep, all DreamHack.
So I think like the year before that we did Shine. Was there CEO as well?
Shine, Combo Breaker.
CEO.
Yeah, okay.
Dreamland, CEO Dreamland.
So we've kind of combined 2017 and 2018 into one year, and then like just overall bumped the general prize pool for like all these events. I don't think any of these events go under 20k. No, nope. We even have like it's even labeled as a mid-season championship. CEO 2019 will be like our BCX before BCX in a way.
Yeah, like mini BCX.
Yeah, so like an MSI.
Because I think 50k was 50k the first BCX.
Yeah, 50k was the first BCX.
Just to give you guys a perspective of like how that's like now the mid-season championship. I love that we're going to FGC events, especially Low Tier City 7 and Shine being like Smash events primarily. So it's like a 2D platform fighter celebration in a way. It's really nice to be able to get a lot of people. I do note that once again, there's no dedicated Brawlhalla event. I want to know all 3 of your general opinions on this and whether or not you think that's like okay, passable, big mistake. What's the general deal? Let's start with you, Isidroo. What do you think?
Dang.
Yeah,
that's fine. It is what it is. I think CEO is like really big for us though. It's like a well-known like event, so like I think it kind of balances out with not having our like Brawlhalla Championship Expo. So like it would be nice to have a separate Brawlhalla land, like only Brawlhalla event, but like not as like the year-end major. I feel like it would be nice to have one like 20k or 50k prize pool.
Like just as something to stop to celebrate Brawlhalla in general, but not be the culmination.
Yeah,
at the
not
very
to be
end.
like, just to be like the event. Like it could be 20k and then just be centered around like everything Brawlhalla related. Just have a tournament on the side, I guess.
Dobrein, what are your thoughts?
I mean, looking at like BCX 2017, which was amazing. I liked DreamHack Atlanta too last year, but like it didn't feel like BCX. It felt like side event or something, and I miss that feeling. You know, like just the whole building back to Brawlhalla people and nobody else. And the fact that we won't have it ever again, probably, kind of sad.
Do you think that feeling can't like be recreated at an event where like we have enough dedicated space where like, because sometimes we share the stage, right? Where it's like, oh, this is also where Melee and Ultimate, or I guess back on Smash 4 is being played. But like if we had enough room where it was like, yes, this feels like it's Brawlhalla only. Would that?
Yeah, that's right. But like compared to B6 2017, last B6 2018 wasn't as big, and that's I don't know. Like 2017 felt like World Championship, and 2018 felt like side
Another
event
stop.
with like with like all the Brawlhalla people across the world.
It was curious, but I feel like some of the earlier stops on that DreamHack event had like a bigger splash than BCX did.
Mhm.
Like I think that Austin and Montreal, like in terms of like the notoriety of the events, were talked about more than Atlanta was by the end of the year. To add on to your argument there for how 2018 was executed. Atlanta also had some weird stuff. There was like that smoke fiasco at the back. There was a point. So I was at BCX 2018 and I was casting with TWK, and there was a point where like there was something happening that was so bad that like we couldn't even like the production had to like leave the back room because they couldn't breathe. We had to like cast with masks on, we had to like we had masks that we were wearing in between when we were on camera just so that we could like handle not what I don't know. If something happens later down in my life, it's probably because I got poisoned from that event. Just saying. That was something fierce. But Boomie, to add on to the end of that, what's your general thoughts?
I mean,
the lineup for offline events.
I definitely agree with like DreamHack Atlanta was like just another DreamHack, and I feel like that feeling is gonna be the exact same this year, especially because we have CEO 2019. I feel like that's gonna be.
Yeah, CEO might actually be like it might like be the peak, and then we just go down, and that's what's interesting about how this is set up. Although that also all goes on to like how the events are executed. I mean, Atlanta is where BMG is situated. They could do a lot more with that, assuming that they get the permissions. But that's also dependent on how much stage space we're given, how much we can reserve. As for my opinion, I like that we are at a lot of different things, because I originally saw as much fun it was for Brawlhalla players to have like the stage that you said, Dobrein, in 2017, 2016, where it's like, this is for them, right? This is for us. This is our thing. Being able to get even just like 1 or 5 or 10 people involved in the event to get them onto the sidelines and go, wow, this is really exciting. I like this. I want to be involved in this. Is something that wouldn't happen at an event where the only reason why anybody would be there is because they already know about us. That's why I like that we were able to get involved in so many of those things. So I don't necessarily see it as a negative, but
yeah, I mean, I never even really thought about that, but I definitely agree. And another thing like about this year that's really good is the spread, like the time spread over the year is way better. Yeah. It's way better than last year.
Not to mention that when there's like an EU and NA thing, they're typically close enough, but not on top of each other. Like I'm looking at DreamHack Summer and DreamHack Dallas.
And CEO.
Those are like, it's like, boom, that entire, like the summer is going to be packed with competition all over the globe. I guess like you could say it's too packed. No, it's not actually. Every month you've got something. July is Low Tier City, August is Shine, September is Montreal, October is Rotterdam, and November is Atlanta. Every month you've got a premier event, and we're not even talking about all the online stuff that's happening.
Yeah.
Next week is March of Legends for EU, I think. I think it's pretty incredible. Yeah. So in terms of offline events, it's 2 years of stuff combined into one. It's going to be really exciting.
Yeah.
The only thing that I could ever think about noting is that, like, maybe not yet. We don't have the dedicated venue, but to counter Dobrein's pessimistic view, maybe 2020, right? If 2019 is us combining 2017, 2018, 2020 is going to combine all three. So we'll have this huge tour of offline events, and then maybe we could have the huge big thing for Brawlhalla, depending on how this year goes. It could be really exciting. But
maybe
that's all I've got for the esports. And I think that's all we'll talk about for the esports in general, this podcast. We're going to move over to a pretty loaded bit of patch notes. A lot of changes today, particularly in the balance, but we're going to get to that last. We're going to start from everything. And what is probably going to become my favorite section of every podcast at the beginning is talking about legend rotation, which, sounds like, it's just 8 legends. But this is kind of, for me, it's for people that are listening that don't have all the legends. And there might be a legend here. They're like, I really want to try this. I don't know whether I want to pick it up. What should we do? The first thing that's in this list, if you're already on it, Boomie, I think you are, is Fait. We're going to be talking a lot about Fait later on today, so we're not going to start with that. Diana, a legend that you literally identify with half the time, with how much you play with, and also your branding. Tell us a little bit about like why somebody would want to pick up the Monster Hunter.
I mean,
Monster Hunter? Bow and guns? Isn't that what she does? She bounty hunter? I don't know what she is. Kills Mordex.
She's Monster Hunter.
Yeah, she's a Monster Hunter. I think this whole legend rotation is pretty stacked, but with Diana in specific, she's just like the friendly entry, I think, for like both of those weapons. Because the way she plays is pretty linear with her signatures, like Dlight Sair on bow is what comes to mind. You know, mainly that.
Are you in the? You're in the Brawlhalla lobby that we have open, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to switch the scene and then select Diana and then show the stats for her as well?
Sure. So,
because I like what you said. It was like the, what did you call it? Really entry level, right? Mm-hmm. And that immediately made me think of, well, yeah, she's also got the stats line for that too, doesn't she?
Yeah. She's like super friendly for new players, I think. As opposed to someone like Yumiko, who has like pretty unforgiving stats, like 4 defense and 4 strength. You really need to like play around that kind of thing. But with Diana, she's like super forgiving. And even like defense stance too.
But why is that? Can you clarify onto defense stance and why?
I think defense is like one of the most important things for like a new player to learn how to play around. Like, and the more defense you have, the easier the legend is to like pick up. Because you can make more mistakes.
Obviously, because more defense, you get hit more, you get punished more. And if you're not sacrificing too much more on anything else, you're not really changing how you're playing. So you're not like adding more options, you're just giving... The option that you're adding is the ability to take more trades, I guess, or lose more trades. Jala, Dobrein, you've messed with Jala.
Yeah.
Any general insight on the character?
Oh, the main reason why I play Jala is her 6. Right.
They're fun. They're just fun.
Yeah. The Sword Dancing is still in the game, as an example, right? And,
wait. Why is that? Why that particular wording? I don't want to.
So it hits behind, it hits below, it hits in front. It's very damn quick, and it deals 29 damage, which is more than Dlight Sair Sword or Downlight Recovery.
Wait. Oh wow. Force. That puts in perspective for like anybody listening.
And so it has more active range than Downlight. So like,
what doesn't it have an interesting property when you gravity cancel it too?
It's below.
I thought she like travels down a slight bit, like she like kind of like descends, or is that just
that's the axe dancing? Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. I wasn't sure if the sword did the same thing too.
Yeah, so like her 6 is just on point. I mean, Ensig is good too. Scythe kills like orange. Yeah. I was playing her just mainly because of 6. And Ensig now kills like at 120 now or something from the side.
And there's utility in that move too. Like you can do a lot of things from different points of the stage where people like, even if it's a little too fast to react to, I think. So they have to be expecting it or playing around it half the time.
Yeah.
So you could catch
a good angle too. Like this like diagonal upwards angle. It's like one of the best because people usually approach from that angle. So, I mean, I just like her 6. That's about it.
Would you say that she has more success in a doubles or a singles environment?
Oh, doubles. I mean, I think like Axe in general is just doubles weapon.
Okay. We talked about Caspian earlier. Has anybody here played Caspian at all?
I played it once when he first came out.
Yeah. Are we going to get the animistic story here where it's just kind of like, I tried that legend one time.
Played it against Scythe and I just spammed Sigs because I thought it was fun, but then after a while I realized he's not really that good.
And the reason is?
He's just bad.
No, come on! This is a form of discussion. Isidroo, we're not being toxic to Caspian here.
Your co-options are limited to offstage play on Gauntlets or just Sigs, but I think his Sigs individually, they're like mediocre to good, but like when you try using his Sigs in his kit, they don't like really mesh that well.
And then speaking of his kit, like how would you describe his weapon combination?
They're both kind of like the same weapon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We touched on this a little bit earlier in the last episode, but I like being able to hear it from the same person. And I don't know if I asked the question last time, but I'll just ask you because you did put some time into him. Is there something that you think could be done to save the legend, or do you just think that he'll be that niche pick for somebody who, no matter what weapon they want to pick up, they want to play the same? They want always the same thing. Is that just how he's always going to exist?
I feel like he could do good, but it would take someone who really, really, really likes Caspian. Like, I don't really. You'd have to buff his SIGs or something because his weapons individually they're like really good. Either start up, like make them faster, I guess. I don't know.
Or just kill.
Yeah,
earlier.
I think he just needs like something way more reliable as a kill option.
Hoping that people land into the neutral sig from Gauntlets. Yeah. Maybe. Nyx is curious. I still feel like that's one of the better characters in the game, but I might be completely mistaken. Scythe guns sounds so good with how, I guess, the metagame's playing out, with how many people liked it. Like, it feels like a lot of people are like that are competing seriously and placing are picking up a Scythe legend with whatever weapon they got comfortable in the game with first. Maybe I'm wrong, but go ahead.
I actually think the main reason, one of the main reasons why people don't play Nyx, because they're just better picks. That's about it. Like, like Nyx is super good, but they're just better picks. So why would you play Nyx? You know, but she's extremely good.
So when you say better picks, it makes me think like somebody's thinking about a thing that they want. They look at the character and they go, "Yes, but this character has that and more." Right, and that's what you're describing. So give me one example of, like, let's say somebody's looking at Nyx. What quality would you say they would look for Nyx for? Like, why would they look?
And let's say look at their Scythe and they're like, oh damn, the Scythe is so good, Sig is so good, the down Sig has like insane range and fair damage. But then you look at Mordex Sigs and you're like, oh, I guess I'll just play Mordex then, you know? But Nyx is good. Like, Nyx is not bad.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest gates for Nyx is that her kill options are like super linear. Because it's kind of the same problem with Caspian. Like, you're forced into offstage with Scythe or signatures, or like recovery with guns, I guess. But like, that's the kind of thing that you need to be like super creative about, like your usage. And I think, as opposed to like Mordex or someone where you can like N-Sig on Scythe or like D-Sig on Gauntlets, it's just like, kind of what he was saying, like, why would you not just pick Mordex, or why would you not just pick Diana? I feel like both of those characters are just
lacking
like
that like extra bit of like, I could just do this in neutral or as a kill confirm and it'll work. Like, it just lacks that. Okay. That's too bad when I think about that, because so it's another instance where, as Isidroo was saying, Caspian and Nyx both have the potential, but you really gotta want to be that character. Like, otherwise, why pick them?
Yeah, and I think Nyx is like way higher in potential, because I don't think their weapon, like her weapons, are like the same thing. But yeah, I think if one of those two characters got hit, Diana got hit or Mordex got hit really hard, then like that player might shift to Nyx as like their new pick.
And that's like a potential thing in the future. If Mordex keeps like being as dominant as he tends to be. We haven't seen like a huge slew of them, but that's an interesting point. Moving on to the next legend, left to right, we have Sir Roland.
Remy's actually playing Roland right now.
Really?
For final round.
He's picked him up in doubles before, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's playing him in singles and in doubles. He actually won the regional qualifier in 2017 with Roland.
That's 2 years ago.
Hey.
I don't have too much to add on that, other than like it's a Lance character. He has a really high defense. He's kind of been, I don't know.
I think Roland is a poor man's Vrax.
Okay.
I just don't see why you would pick a Lance Legend if it's not Vrax.
And to clarify, that's because of Vrax's dexterity. Right?
Yeah, dex.
Yeah. Could you say what that? Dobrein, tell us what Rance is. Is this a Boomie?
I mean, all you need to know about 9 dex is Downlight
and Light.
40 damage through only on Vrax.
That's it.
Wow, that's a lot. That's like nearly double what you were talking about with Jala. That down
40 damage.
That's quite a bit.
So you just have to go for 9 decks. You have to go for this combo often. You just scour your moves.
Didn't we see Kosalix picking up Vrax as a counter pick against Simba to try to get that?
Yeah, except
Didn't
it
really
didn't
work
well.
out.
Yeah, it didn't work at all.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
that was an example of competitive of it happening, I guess, is what.
Yeah, but it's like he showed why you can't just fish for it too.
Mhm.
Like he was obviously fishing for it, and then he just got punished hard. Like it's something you can pick up to. Like if someone's playing Vrax, you can pick up onto it, but like it's still like a good tool to have every once in a while.
Mhm.
So in other words, Roland. Moving on. Nash. I love Nash.
I love
but
Nash too.
I think this character is what makes this character not very good. Or is he actually good and just nobody likes to play him? I don't know. Why don't I ever see him? I remember the only thing I remember is Dobrein playing Nash before, and we were talking about like you have to do the Dobrein. And it was just like this weird down sig, and he would turn around and he would down sig for it. And the cool thing about Nash's down sig on Hammer is that it has that impact animation. It's so sick. I wish more characters had that like interacting thing, which they do. Yeah, I think Artemis has got something, but I remember Boomie showing that me earlier. But anyways, as you were saying, Dobrein, before I cut you off.
I wanted to say that like I feel like he has like the same issue as Caspin does. Like his weapons just kind of do the same thing. But
Okay.
also, I think Fiend, right, plays
Oh yeah.
Nash.
Mhm.
Just won a regional or the international tournament.
Oh
with Nash.
yeah, that's actually really interesting, and that's topical. I
Uncontested.
forgot to put that in my list of things.
People do play Nash.
Never mind then.
Yeah.
All right, Nash, represented by Fiend. Could have seen it during the international. Fun character, very exciting, very explosive.
Yeah.
And Orion, I think Orion was coming up. Like he was like
Yellow
being
Man.
talked about as a character to play. In what's everyone? What are we?
He said yellow man.
Yellow Man. Oh yeah, what he is.
Yeah.
Sometimes he glows a little bit. General talk about Yellow Man. Isidroo, let's start with you. What do you think about Orion?
It's pretty good. I actually think he's pretty top tier. Compared to other Lance Legends, I think he's the second best Lance Legend because like his stats, like it's like 4-6-6-6, so you could just like use any stance you want, and like his sigs mediocre to good. So like his spear sigs actually synergize well with the kit too. So then his Lance sigs, his end sig is strong. Side sig is alright. D sig is pretty good. So it's like one of the better. Like overall,
yeah, whenever I
like,
think of Orion Sigs, I always think of a spear down Sig.
Yeah, spear down sig, spear side sig, and then end sig too, which is like kind of like a gimmick, I guess, if you like go for it. They can just kill early.
Mhm.
It's just like one of the better, like more like well created Lance Legends because his like kit actually like works with his weapons. That's why I think he's like a little bit more top tier compared to other legends.
That's very insightful.
Yeah, where I think Orion falters though is when you hit Orion off stage, it's very, very difficult for him to recover. Both of his weapons are pretty weak, like throwing out a hitbox to like contest the person above them. Like you think Lance, you only have Nair and you only have like recovery, I guess, for Spear. And I think that's like one of the biggest weaknesses for Orion.
Okay, that's pretty good. I think that sums up everybody that we got in the legend rotation. In summary, Diana, if you want to have an access point for playing ranged weapons.
Yeah.
Jala, if you want a heavy hitter in twos, that down sig's crazy. Caspian, if you like to showcase your personality, that's a good one. Nyx, sleeper. I'll just put there. It's like sleeper character. If something happens to the cream of the crop, you might be seeing more Nyx play. Roland is what budget Vrax, as we talked about. Nash has got some potential, just unexplored, but being played a lot in the international regions. And Orion has some potential as a Lance Spear legend. I've always thought that too. I just think that people need to explore more. I think Orion has a similar situation as Nyx does, where there might need to be some hits to other characters like Scarlet or Rex before you start playing him.
And Lance buffs, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Let's go to the top of the patch notes then. And Boomie, you can just kind of read off things. And if we see something interesting, we'll talk about it. But we'll just go down starting with
the Enchantress makes her debut. I mean, more skins are cool. I think crossovers are great for the health of the game.
Yes.
So
yes.
this is great.
It's not just like a reskin.
Yeah, it's like a total.
The amount of work that BMG's artists have been putting into these epic skins actually make them worth buying. You feel like you're playing a different character with the same moveset, and I think that embodies what an epic skin should be in any game. And Brawlhalla also has that awesome, like, what do you call it? Like, so like if I look at other games that are very famous for their cosmetics, look at MOBAs like League, right? You have skins, but it's still the same character, right?
Yeah.
It might be like in an alternate universe, but you're still playing that character. In Brawlhalla, because of how character models work, you could just call Fait the Enchantress, and now you're playing the Enchantress. You're not playing Fait, and that potential gives Brawlhalla the potential for Brawlhalla crossovers is limitless because of that. So very cool release to be able to see more Shovel Knight representation. Speaking of which, Fait price reduced to 5,400 gold. Usually when Legends are newly made, they cost a little bit more to stop them from overpopulating the ladder from casual players or people that don't have the full Legend pack. So if you were thinking about buying Fait, wait till the end of this podcast, because Dobrein will most likely give you a reason to do so or not to do so, depending on. Go ahead and talk about the Brawl of the Week.
Strikeout Mania. Pick your best 5 Legends face off against your opponent's best 5 Legends. 10's 300% damage battle.
Wait, is that what it is?
Yeah, so 300% damage, 5 stocks
like
strikeout.
Death, 5 stocks.
Yeah.
That's sick, actually. Also, probably really frustrating.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I mean, I think Brawl of the Weeks in general are pretty much just like for fun. But I feel like this one is just gonna be like frustrating.
Do you want to queue up for it right now?
Okay, yeah, I'll queue up for it. Yeah, I'll queue up one Brawl of the Week.
Let's do it. Let's see how it works. Pick your 5 legends. Hold on, what should the 5 legends be? It should be from the legend rotation.
Okay.
Right, I'm telling you what they are. You're gonna pick Caspian, Orion, Nash, Nyx, and Fait.
Okay. In that order?
Yes.
Okay. We'll see how this goes. Is there anything else we can talk about while I'm waiting in queue? I feel like...
yeah, is the queue going to be really long?
It shouldn't.
Yeah, we'll just keep going down the patch notes. Yeah,
okay.
So that's the Brawl of the Week. We're going to find out how that plays out and see if it's, like, fun or hilarious or whatever it is. I'll briefly talk about, like, the patch notes that are not as, like, whatever. Well, that's not true. All this is important. Localization. Some new language options. Corrections to Spanish translation, improving the Japanese localization. Main portions of the game are now available in Russian. Hey, Dobrein. There you go.
Okay, I got a game.
Looking good. What else was there? Russian, Chinese, in both traditional and simplified French, German, Italian, Japanese, Brazilian, Portuguese, and Spanish. And it gives you a little hint on how to change your languages. You go to options in the system settings. But if you're in a game right now, am I not spectating you? No. I'm spectating you now. Let's see how it plays out.
Should I do like... What should I even say? Like, what's going on? Okay. I'm grinding it out right now.
I mean, I already misunderstood what 300% damage meant. I thought it meant each stock starts with 300%.
No, well, we don't have percent in this game. We just have numbers.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, isn't there technically like a number system that's just not shown?
Yeah.
Because you were talking about damage, right, Dobrein? Like 29 damage as a number. So like it's there.
Yeah.
But I guess this is just you doing a ton of damage per hit.
Yeah, 300 times, like 3 times.
All right, Isidroo,
3 times damage.
What skills do you think you could practice and get better at by taking advantage of this Brawl of the Week? As you're watching it, what do you think?
Practice and heightening your casual skills.
No sarcastic. No,
I have an answer.
Okay, Dobrein, go.
Can I? Okay. So actually, you can practice like it's always last oxidation for you, and it's always you deep
yes.
You die from like 2 hits.
Like that bomb, right?
You can literally die from 1 bomb, probably. Oh yeah, he just died from 1 bomb.
Okay. That was good. So no, actually, it's kind of troll, but I like what you said there, Dobrein, because what I want to do every week with the Brawl of the Week is talk about, like, there's a reason to play this game mode, whether you're casual or competitive, and that is there's a skill that you can practice on repeat, which is being in last stock situations. So I think that it's excellent that you brought that up, because yes, essentially every stock that you get back on a different character, you have to play it out like it's your last
one. Yeah.
That's very good. Good showcase, Boomie. Man.
My Cassian's dirty, dude.
You 5-stock that, man. That was brutal. Read out the improvements, Boomie.
Performance, increased frame rates on all platforms, Console performance improvements on level selection screen. Then just optimization for SIGs, I think, and taunts. So, I mean, any optimization is good.
It's amazing, yeah.
Yeah.
I looked at the bug fixes over before we patched, and none of these like felt like. A lot of them were just like obscure crashes.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, there was like a crash where like if you try to refund without internet connection, it would just destroy your game. That's pretty... that was fixed, but there's nothing else that's really crazy. The test features, I wanted to clarify. Dobrein, you had some insight on these because it says player respawn points have been adjusted to be more even, and item spawn position has been fixed as well. You had some insight on like how to like, I guess, break that down.
So yeah, you asked what is it exactly. So basically, it just means that you like spawn more even compared to each other. Like before, for example, let's say I don't know how you compare it actually on Twilight because one spawns in island, one spawns in the other.
Yeah, that's
platform.
what I was thinking too.
But like let's say War Shuttle. If you ever played War Shuttle in experimental, the weapon like actually just doesn't spawn for like 10 seconds. Unlike in every other map. So it just like randomly spawns like on side of the map like 10 seconds in.
Although that was also in the test features update.
Yeah.
But that's interesting that you brought that up because they were thinking about that too.
Yeah, so they fixed that.
Okay, cool. That's probably just good for competitive in general, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then for respawn points, it's just like generally probably more on in the middle, I'd assume.
Yeah, it's just more even.
Well, that's
so,
good.
Like, let's say, like you make to the weapon first, like at the same time. That's about it.
Okay.
All right. The main course of the patch notes: balance. Take us away, Boomie.
Unarmed. Actually, well, what's this little blurb here? Balance adjustments are focused on smoothing out some individually overtuned attacks that have proven to be too strong within their respective kits.
Okay.
Greater recover time. Adjusted to whatever, how do you say that word? Oh, an overly powerful team combos.
It's rain.
Rain? Don't you spell it with a G?
No, it's depending. It's English. Don't think.
I'm over it. Given
it's
a
like
boost.
A horse.
Shut up. We have given a boost to some individual attacks that have been underperforming while also continuing our fundamental updates to senior legends with Ada receiving special attention. Okay, starting off with Unarmed. Decreased stun from 19 to 17. Don't think this does anything. Right?
And the unarmed nerfs are pretty welcome though. Unarmed is a dumb.
Yeah, unarmed is too good for being default.
Because there's like, especially when like you're playing heavier weapons, there's a point where you rather not play heavier weapons if the other person is unarmed. That's why like sometimes when I'm playing axe, like against certain players, I'll let them like get the weapon instead of weapon denying them because I know I can like win neutral when they have their weapon rather than take like 40 damage when they're unarmed.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Balanced, especially on axe where like unarmed Sair can like just like destroy axe sidelight, so it's like it's not a fun thing to play.
So because we're talking about unarmed Sair, do you think that a decreased what's this decreased stun from 19 to 17? I'm assuming that's saying the amount of time that you are locked into knockback from it? Or does that help at all? Or is it just like anything counts for you, really?
I mean, yeah, because any nerfs are welcome. I mean, that would just make it harder for them to follow up, or like it'll give you more like dodge frame, more like time to
like earlier on in the stock.
Yeah, you can like probably just like it would be easier for you to dodge it, like any other follow up.
I can explain the change. So
go for it.
Before you could, so Unarmed Sair has like 9 or 7 active frames or stuff like that, which is crazy by the way, and it has same stun time on every frame, I believe. So let's say you hit the first frame, you have like, I don't know, 10 frames of advantage, right? Then you hit the 9th frame, then you have 19 frames of advantage.
Oh, that's incredible. That okay. It effectively doubles the amount of time that you have.
So before you could hit the very first frame and still get neutralite off, and it's true. Now you can do that. If you hit the first frame of Unarmed Sair, neutralite is not true anymore, as an example.
Okay.
But most of the time you don't hit the first frame.
Yeah,
anyway, so.
You hit the like 3rd or 4th or 5th.
Yeah, you would have to have some very lucky stuff happening there.
Yeah, so like if you hit 3rd now, you're good to go. It's still true. Stuff like that.
So you're saying that this is not a good start, but Unarmed Sair is probably going to have some
more nerfs.
more attention.
Yeah. Unarmed Sair and Andrikari like
There too.
Andrikari just there's like ooh, I don't know. There's so much good stuff about that.
Is Unarmed being a viable option as it is something that you all think is healthy in general? Or do you think that it should get more of like a, I like to think of Little Mac and Smash Ultimate, should it get like a Little Mac aerial treatment where it's just like, yeah, these moves do things, but really you don't want to do it. Like, well, start with you, Dobrein.
Well, I think it's just not healthy for the game when you can literally dash jump Sair your whole stock or like double jump there and be safe. It's just not healthy. Or like you can just literally double jump fast till recovery and eventually you're gonna kill your opponent at 160, you know? It just doesn't seem healthy. And on top of that, like some moves like Unarmed Sair. So dash jump Unarmed Sair, Isidroo was speaking of Axe matchup. So if you do dash jump Unarmed Sair on Unarmed and Axe player just neutralizes you, you jump over Axe neutralite and you hit him because he jumps a little bit. Because Axe neutralite jumps a little bit, the person who uses it. So like,
oh yeah, that's right. Like you're talking about the animation where he's swinging the axe.
Yeah,
the
so
body
you jump
literally
over the
rises.
Hitbox. Yeah, you jump over the hitbox and you hit them at the same time.
I didn't think about that.
And I mean, and the recovery is just like 17 damage that kills like 170. Come on, man. There's so much good stuff about that.
Yeah, I think Unarmed is way too good for being like. I think with how like our weapon spawns work and like our whole game is kind of like revolved around weapons, I think weapon starving should be way more important than it is, and Unarmed kind of like is a big factor in why it's not. Because
I think weapon starving is important in some matchups, but when Isidroo brings up the point of like because of the weapons he plays, it's not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's probably what you're saying is not the healthy.
Yeah, that's not good. And Unarmed into Axe is like something I willingly go into because it's too good.
I've seen a lot of Qatar players play very weapon starve heavy playstyles because I don't think Unarmed succeeds very well.
I think Qatar is also like the weapon that benefits the most from weapon starving too. It just completely destroys Unarmed. It can control stage so easily. It gets like one hit at white, like one read at white. They lose like 40 damage, 40 to 50. Probably the best weapon to die with.
I mean, just think about the fact, like you just knock the person off stage. They just respawn with Unarmed. You have Axe in hand, and you want them to pick up weapons, so you'll feel more confident.
Yeah. No, when you put that into perspective for me, I went like, wait a second. That doesn't sound right.
Like you just stand there at the side of the stage and jump away and just wait for.
What if I provide you this argument? It's the role of the Axe player to recognize because they got the stock, they need to prime their other weapon in preparation for Unarmed. That could be one way of looking at it, but I guess your general statement is because of how the game is balanced, Unarmed probably shouldn't be that threatening to any weapon.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
Okay. Yeah, and when I think about it, yes, when you don't have a weapon. Unless your character has gauntlets, because in my opinion, I felt like gauntlets kind of enhanced, like that should be like the idea of the enhanced weaponless fighting, right? Like you've got some gloves on, you're ready to punch people. Like that should be when you're strong, not when your gauntlets are off and you're just kind of like, I still punch you and I still kill you. It doesn't matter. I have 3 weapons. So that's excellent.
And there have been points in like the balance meta where like gauntlets have been worse than Unarmed.
Yeah. So I want to take like a really, really, really informal poll here. Should Unarmed be so gutted that it shouldn't even be an option? Yes or no? Boomie.
I think Unarmed should be unplayable off stage. But I think on stage it should be like mildly like you're not totally destroyed for playing it.
Isidroo, what do you think?
I think Unarmed should be like an option where you could have like get off me tools, but not like a one hit into like 40 to 50 damage versus big weapons. That's basically like I feel like it should just be toned, like the string potential should be toned down a lot.
I like that. Dobrein.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like it should be just like get off me. I want to get a weapon, you know, kind of stuff, but not like I'm gonna throw away my gauntlets so I can kill you with an armed recovery. You know, it shouldn't be like that.
Okay. So in other words, all of Unarmed's attacks should be like Unarmed sidelight.
I think Unarmed Sidelight's great.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's good.
Unarmed Sidelight's like a great design.
Yeah, that's actually very cool. Well, that's great. Let's move on to the next change. Lance, go ahead and read it up, Boomie.
Lance Downlight increased cooldown on hit from 11 to 16. Increased force from 50 fixed, 0 variable to 50 fixed, 5 variable. So, on the surface, this looks like Nerf to the infinite black hole, right? Because as soon as you have variable force, you can DI.
Mm.
But this also impacts the infinite Dlight to Nlight, no matter what HP you are at on Vrax. So that combo actually isn't a kill combo anymore.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's something I didn't even think about until I was playing yesterday. But I mean, it's not that big of a nerf. Like, you can still do it for the majority of your stock, but
it's just not forever.
Yeah,
because of the variable. Do you have any other blurbs to add to that, Dobrein, with what you know?
No, I mean, it just nerfed the black hole, and you just can't kill with it anymore. But I mean, that's a good change.
Yeah,
and
it's a good change.
This is definitely in response to what we saw Kostelix and Down do at Winners.
Yeah.
Which was that Dlight to Dlight black hole combo. Good change.
Yep.
What's next on the chopping block?
The Scythe has been slightly outpacing other weapons at a high level play.
No kidding.
Slightly.
So we have opened more areas of opportunity to play around two of its most common attacks. Scythe Neutralite improved hitboxing to better match the animation, resulting in slightly less horizontal coverage at the end of the swing. Scythe Ground Pound increased recover time from 3 fixed 17 variable to 3 fixed 20 variable. Can tell you this probably does nothing.
Did the Neutralite change significantly?
No,
change something?
Definitely not. Definitely
Check
not.
that out, Dobrein, in training mode or whatever.
No, I noticed the hitbox change, but I still haven't noticed it in real games.
Okay.
I don't know. They remove one hitbox in front and fourth frame or something. But I mean,
why did they hit ground pound?
Dude, you can do that move totally without repercussions, and you can just spam it.
Yeah,
that's weird.
It's just free.
I mean, I think the blurb was right. Yes, it is outpacing weapons at high level play, but I don't think that these changes were
reflective of that.
Yeah. Well, it's like putting me in the perspective of maybe this is one of those we're prepping the weapon patches, just like Unarmed Sair got that change, and you're like, well, okay, sure, yeah, that's everybody's reaction. I feel like maybe not.
I mean, it's
the right direction.
Yeah, it's a. I mean, we've been in this cycle for a while now, where it's lots of steps in the right direction, but it's as a top player after so long, it gets frustrating, at least to an extent. You see this weapon that is clearly the best, at least in the eyes of most top players, and it only gets hit by a few frames. It can be frustrating. And I don't think Scythe is clearly the best by a large margin, but I don't think
it's performing the best.
No, it's not.
I think it has the.
It's not performing the best.
Is it not? Okay.
I mean,
what would you say is performing the best?
I mean, Bo is definitely doing the best. I mean, Juan Winters in EU and NA.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. These are just not where I would have expected Scythe to be.
Where
hit.
Would you have expected to hit it?
Probably recovery, mainly recovery, and Sidelight I think is a bit too strong. Maybe bring down the damage of hard Sidelight and bring up the damage of light Sidelight to make it so that it feels nice to actually use. But
and you're talking about the active input for Sidelight, correct? Yeah. Because I think we had a conversation a while back about there's just no reason to use
soft Sidelight.
To use soft Sidelight because why would you? You want the damage with that move.
Yeah.
What about you, Isidroo? What do you think about the weapon in general?
I feel as long as they keep doing nerfs like this, it'll eventually get to a point where everyone's comfortable with it. It's kind of like Axe, where they last year, at the beginning of the year, is really good. Then every patch they nerf Nair stunned by 1 frame. Every patch, minus 1 frame. Like it eventually get to a point where it's just like, it is what it is. So hopefully they just like keep going in this direction.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, I just hope it doesn't fall into like this point where it's super stale and everybody's playing Scythe. Because I feel like we were in that situation last year with Katars and mainly Asuri, and that was really bad.
I would be inclined to agree. Variation is fun from a spectator and competitive standpoint. Definitely. But that's it for Scythe. Not too much changes. Gauntlets. Go ahead.
Gauntlets Neutralite decrease recovery time on miss from 0 fixed 20 variable to 0 fixed 17 variable. Increase damage from 13 to 14. What do you think, Dobrein?
I mean, another baby step. Like
Yeah.
1 damage. Like, and that Neutralite, I believe, deals 16 or something. Just think about it. And like, I don't know. I mean, good change, right direction. Enough, not even close.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's a better move, but like, I don't know.
I'm sensing a theme.
Yeah.
Within our discussion, and that is that this just feels really tentative. Like it just feels kind of like a maybe they won't notice patch. Like that's what it's like. Feels like it's like let's just slightly.
It's like you start reading like the patch now. You see Gauntlets can initially decrease recovery time on Mies, and then you read the rest. And I say, oh, okay, I guess go next.
Yeah.
You get excited, and then you read the actual change. Like, okay.
Wow. I am happy that we get the details, though. At least it's not like some games have the patch notes where it's like they just say a thing changed, and then you're like,
yeah,
how
some
much?
Games.
Not naming names, but just like it's cool that we get to have that high in disappointment of like, oh, not disappointment, but just kind of like, oh, okay, so it's not, it's not that much. Blasters, read it out. What do we got?
Blaster's neutral air increased recovery time on miss from 0 fixed 14 variable to 2 fixed 14 variable. I can tell you from experience playing this patch, this does like literally nothing. Like this just makes it feel worse for blasters, and I can like almost guarantee anybody playing against this doesn't even notice. If they didn't read it, they wouldn't know that it happened.
It's another one of those transition changes, I think.
Yeah.
I would probably, because like I like what Isidroo brought up with the axe changes. We're probably going to see all of these moves hit again soon.
Yeah, or just like the same weapons being hit and the same weapons being buffed.
Yep.
Yeah.
So here's a section that is a little bit more comprehensive. We've got signature changes. It seems to be mostly Scarlet. There's tons of Ada changes. A little bit of a Zol.
Don't talk about it.
Dude, that's sick. That is way more than 1 damage. That is 4 times 1. All right. 4 more damage.
Yeah. So now Jala with 7 force is dealing more damage with your down sig than Zol with 9 force. Let's go, dude.
Okay.
That's such a random change, dude. Just out of nowhere, like one of the worst.
Zol needed something.
Yeah, and this was it. Like this was Zol, top tier. After this patch,
I would hope that he gets a little bit of the Barasa treatment, where like, remember what was it, Barasa X side sig? It just casted faster. I don't know what you call it. What's the term for that? But like it didn't take as long for the move to finish. I liked that kind of change. Maybe Zol could use some of that, but it might take away from his slow, clunky barbarian theme.
Yeah, maybe Zol could use a lot more than that too.
Yeah, but let's start from the top. Let's read about what happened with Scarlet. Go ahead.
Okay, Scarlet Neutral Hammer increased recovery time from 17 to 21, slightly decreased grounded coverage at the front of the attack, removed grounded coverage at the rear of the attack. We all knew this was coming.
Yeah. Another victim of the Costelix masterclass that was Winter Champs. like if there were changes to Scarlet people were talking about, he was the guy who was like, you know what, Lance Downlight, I'm gonna do it, and it's like, oh, Scarlet neutral sig, heck yeah, we're gonna see it 17 times, and now we're never gonna see it again. But
move's still good.
The move's still good, but the reason why this change happened was because it covered a ridiculous amount of space.
Yeah.
Is it still ridiculous, Dobrein, or is it much more manageable?
No, that's actually crazy nerf. Like the hitboxes now, they even worse than back in the day hitboxes.
Ooh, I did not.
And like and for Ricardo on top of that, it doesn't hit behind now. It doesn't hit below. It makes sense, right? But it's not the old Ensig, you know. It's a good Sig, but it's not the Scarlet Ensig, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good, but it's not that good anymore.
And it's gonna feel even worse because of how good it just was.
Yeah,
That's
like
the worst part.
imagine taking Sig from like A+ tier to S tier and then straight into B tier.
That might as well be
Something
F
like
tier.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know. I mean, huge change. That's probably the only like huge change, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
so moving on to Ada, like all these ones
Yeah.
are just improved her boxing to better match the animation. These are like
Ada's an old legend, relatively, right?
yeah, and her Sigs
So-
were very strong
Yeah.
before. They're still very strong. But
What happened? What happened with Side Spear here?
Actually,
Decrease-
Downspear, the hurt box now is inside of hitbox animation.
Mhm.
So before it would like pop out like hitbox was here and hurtbox was like on top of it. Now it's inside. So it's actually a lot better now. So for example, before you could just down air in the middle of her dancing, right? And you would win with unarmed down air.
Mhm.
Now
Now you're just gonna get hit. Because she's inside of this hitbox now of dancing. She's like super low now.
So you
like,
have to throw a weapon, is what you're saying.
I mean, no, you can't down it with like sword or anything like that. Obviously,
Okay.
I'm just like saying an arm down there. You could beat it before easily. Now you can't
Oh.
because it's like inside the hitbox. Like
You're
imagine
saying unarmed nerfs.
it's like squished a little bit now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before it was just hitbox.
That's
So it's
good.
better now. It's a buff.
Oh yeah, and that's just to highlight that the wording here isn't hitboxing; it's hurtboxing. So that's
Yeah.
why. Yeah. A good point. Side Spear, actual changes to the.
Yep.
head.
Improved her boxing to better match the animation. I'm assuming that's like the same thing, Dobrein.
Yeah.
And improved foot registration, resulting in increased forward travel before the strike. Decreased force from 65 fixed, 56 variable to 65 fixed, 53 variable. Angle of knockback is now slightly more horizontal. Is that like more of an adjustment or is it like a direct nerf? Because I feel like with the angle, like, okay, so you got this right.
Does this mean that
It goes
you
like
can-
that, but now it goes straight out. I'm assuming.
No, it still doesn't go straight. It goes like slightly more horizontal.
Oh,
We don't
okay.
get the percentage on that, but we get the slightly at least. And I imagine it just kills its same HP.
Yeah.
I don't know what's this. I don't know why this changes like that. Like imagine like what's the good like Vrax Ensig on lands. It like goes straight to the like corner of the map, right?
Mhm.
So it doesn't kill early because of that. Imagine they nerf like variable force by 20, and then they make it hit straight horizontal. Like it would still kill like
Same
HP.
time, yeah.
So it's kind of like the same change. So I don't know why they actually did that.
Could you say that theoretically you could use Ada Side Spear to now dodge a move?
Do what?
Why would you do that?
I'm just saying. I'm not giving you a good reason. It says, look, like it says the forward travel before the strike. So that means when she does that stupid little step thing with the slash,
Oh yeah,
she moves now.
Dude, it's like
So you could dodge like a ground pound that's coming like straight down.
You're actually dumb.
No, it's the coolest thing. We're gonna see that one day, and I'm gonna freak out.
Yeah, you're gonna see that one day.
Yes.
Where's the Ada player, bro?
Crocky.
Yeah.
Oh, Crocky.
Crocky shows up. Hey, Crocky. Well, there are times where he'll just bust out 7.
What about Mirage, which he plays instead of Ada?
No, he's been grinding Ada, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I like that. I like those little things. Like it's like you move forward a little bit. It's like
adjustments.
It's something.
Adjustments.
Neutral spear. Go ahead and read that out.
Decreased force from 75 fixed 63 variable to 70 fixed 54 variable. That's
so those
pretty significant.
Those look like big number changes, but what do they mean?
Instead of killing ridiculously early, it kills at a standard HP. Yeah.
That's rough. So no comeback mechanics. Dang. Probably a good.
I mean, almost. It's still really good.
Okay. So it's not. It hasn't been destroyed. It's just been tuned.
Yeah, I mean, you used to be able to hit that Sig at like 50 HP and convert it to a kill, like very easily.
Like back in the Queen 9 days?
No, like right before this patch.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was trying to talk about like legends that you remember, like Queen Eye side Sig with like Wilson in like 2016.
He just killed. He couldn't convert it. Just kill it.
Oh yeah, it would just kill. Yeah.
Yeah. But this Sig, he means like you could just like take one jump and then you'll force him to dodge and you still like get a guaranteed kill.
Yeah.
Okay.
75 dodge, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That is a lot. Okay. So that's good. It means the move's been brought back more into like a no more people going to be screaming this is BS when it hits them. Or at least not as much.
Yeah.
They probably still will.
Yeah.
Yeah, they still will for sure.
Yeah.
And then finally the side blasters.
Improved hurtboxing to better match the animation. Same thing as the above hurtboxes. Improved hitboxing to better match the animation, resulting in less vertical coverage on each shot. That's really good. That used to be like a big issue where it would hit like way higher than you'd expect. Improved foot registration, resulting in greater backstep after the final blast. I didn't even know that was a thing before this patch. Decreased gaps between each shot in the hit window. Increased hit window from 21 to 25. Decreased base damage from 31 to 26. It was 31 before. Think about that. Decreased recovery time from 21 to 15.
Dang, side blasters got moved around a bit. I do remember this, like, where people would try to dodge above an Ada side Sig, and then they would just like get pulled into the shot somehow, and they weren't even touching it. It felt like.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that's what got changed. Dang, Ada got cleaned up. That's for sure. Any comments about the actual? Oh, go ahead.
She was on the list. I just want to say, like, they're going like legends by legends. You know, they touched Scarlet. They got Jala back in the day. Now they got Ada. Who's next? No, but not Vrax.
Who do we think?
Yeah, probably Vrax.
What about Taros?
I think they're gonna nerf before they buff.
Why do you laugh, Isidroo? What's wrong?
I think Taros is a lost cause.
Yeah, that too.
That's all the more reason to look at him and just like, I don't know, double the size of his. That's what he needs. His weapons need to be doubled in size.
He's too far gone now. They just gotta leave him. It's too late.
He's gonna forever be the Olgrim of 2019.
Ogrim.
He's been the Ogrim.
Yeah.
I don't know. I definitely think it's Vrax. Assuming there's not a balance patch until after Final One. Go ahead, Dobrein.
Never mind. It's not gonna be Vrax. Vrax just got fixed.
Oh yeah.
Not gonna be Vrax.
Fixed.
It's actually crazy. He just got tuned. Like. What?
Maybe Dex just needs to be redistributed in Lance. Maybe that's just a bit too top heavy.
That's possible. Zol, the increased buff.
Yeah, we can skip that.
Axe, 23%. No, we can't, because we have an axe player here.
Oh, yeah?
Are we talking about the Zoe side axe?
Yes.
It's actually one of the worst things in the game.
Yeah, it's like
kills so late. Imagine if you're at the one edge of the map, like you're on Fangwell, Zoe is on the left, and then Ada's on the right. If you hit the Sig, it would send him to the right, so you won't kill early. Like, and because it runs, if you run, it's not gonna, like, it's such a bad Sig, it kills so late. It sends them straight, like, diagonally up to, it's like one of the worst Sigs in the game.
So you think if it got a significant increase in fixed force, it might actually be usable?
No.
Yeah, no. But even, I mean, it'd just be, like, if you hit it, it'd be like, okay, hopefully it dies. But, like, you wouldn't, even if they buff it, you would never want to, like, just use the Sig.
I'm trying to think of a Sig that's worse. Like, actually.
Wow. This is
Yeah, I don't think there's one. There's just everything is bad about the Sig. It moves slowly. It has recovery time. It's like
it sends them in the worst
45-degree angle. It even has like long animation, so it's worse in twos. Like
yeah, it's like so bad.
Like what can you ask for? The hitbox is super small, and there's a
Okay.
gap in between when you release it. Like, what?
Whoa.
Like, oh my god.
All right. We'll stop talking about Zol. I'm sorry. Moving on. That does it for balance patches. Unless is the Yumiko changes. I guess there's two of them. They updated the hurt boxing. But
Yeah, this is a sleeper change.
Okay,
Like,
let's talk about it.
honestly, I think this is pretty big because those SIGs were like borderline unusable beforehand because you could
box like thinner when it travels. Is that what they did?
I think it makes it so that when you use the move, your hurt box isn't in front of the hitbox anymore. Because I feel like that's what it felt like beforehand.
I tested it. So before the hitbox would still be the same as Yumiko. It would be the same size. And hitbox, like imagine this. This is hitbox, and
Sure.
this dot would be.
What is this? Go on. You have to. This is a podcast, so some people might be listening. You have to.
So this is hitbox.
What
it's a Rubik's Cube.
Thank you.
It's Rubik's Cube. Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to see what this was.
So this whole thing is hitbox, and this red dot right here.
The one square in the middle is the hitbox.
That would be hitbox before. Now, I don't have it solved.
Oh, he's we're updating the hurtbox live.
Now it's like actually the same size.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Okay.
the hitbox and hurtbox are the same size. One small dot. This orange thing.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's hitbox and hurtbox at the same time now.
Oh, okay. So that is significant.
Yeah.
That's really
You still
big,
get
actually.
advertised by like an initialite though. So.
Oh yeah. Okay,
Yeah, 'cause
that's
the line is
sad.
broken.
So like I'm not sure about that.
So more baby steps, or maybe just like changes that fade into
change.
nothingness.
Honestly,
That's a good change.
Yumiko has been getting like pretty significant buffs over the past like few patches though. Like this character is slowly becoming like very, very
It's going to be going from Nick's status to actually picked over other things status. You think? Soon?
No, definitely not. But
Okay.
but
Not
maybe approaching Nick's status.
Okay. All right.
It's good. It's good. There was a time when I thought Yumiko was like so unplayable that she should just be deleted. So
I remember when Remy played her for a while, like experimenting, but it never looked fantastic. And then he just went back to Hattori or something.
yeah.
It just didn't go well. I do like some of the ideas that the character's kit has, but that does it for balance changes. So we're going to move over to the primary topic of discussion today, which is the newest weapon in the game, Orb, and the two characters who possess it. Isidroo, you've been playing a decent amount of Dusk, and Dobrein's been playing Fait. I know I heard you talking a little bit about how the signatures can even function as light attacks because of the unique properties. So I'm not really sure how we should get started here, but since Dobrein had a lot of input on Frame Data, I'd actually like to start with Isidroo, showcasing some stuff on Dusk and what he's found, things about Orb, signatures, and things like that. So let's get into a lobby and take a look, and we'll get started on that. You can tell us a little bit about what you think about the weapon and the legend. And then Boomie, if you haven't dated the...
Yeah, I have.
All right, good.
You want me to just talk about them? Or do you want me to show stuff in game too?
Let's do both. Whatever you want to do. Whatever feels comfortable.
Like, all right, that's fine.
Because you can talk about them and show it. You could do both if you wanted to.
Actually, I think we should start with like what we can see here. Why do you use defense stance, and like what do you think about the stats in general?
Just because like most legends that are top tier are like legends who have like really good sigs that can kill early. So having that extra defense is like always like handy and helpful. And because it's attack, so like having one less attack on a weapon like Orb that already does a lot of damage is like pretty much negated when you take one away. And since attack doesn't affect sigs either, it's like you could just like it's just like more. It makes more sense to play defense.
And for those that are just kind of tuning into Brawlhalla stuff in general, can you clarify what attack actually affects?
Attack just affects your damage and I think force.
On light attacks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't affect SIGs at all though.
That's good to know.
It indirectly affects SIGs.
It does affect it affects everything. It's like it does the same thing that defense does, but
The
all the way
opposite.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. But like the reason why like I started playing Dust was because like the more I play Axe, the more I realize it's like not like really good to play against, or not really good to play like against any weapon. Like I never feel like when you have Axe, you never have like you're never in a position where you have like advantage that you can push, unless your opponent's just bad. But like if you're fighting someone that like understands the game, like the weaknesses of Axe just glare out so much. Like and then like I feel like Axe to Orb, the way you can play is like really similar, or how you can win out with neutral, with Sidelight, which will combo into Dlight or the Sair. So like after
Go ahead
that
and
you just work
try
on your reads.
show one of those combos on Boomie character. Boomie, center yourself.
So like if I hit this and he were to dodge down, I could do that again, and then there if he jumps. So and that works for like every dodge down read, because if he dodges away, I'll just turn Sidelight. If he
Oh,
dodges straight down, I'll just like take a step back and then Sidelight. Dodges down here, I'll just Sidelight again.
so fundamentally, you're saying that neutral and then converting off your combo starters is very similar to
Yeah,
playing
it's
Axe.
like yeah, exactly. And then like another thing is like on Axe, if you miss a Sidelight on Axe, you're just like against a good player, you're gonna eat like 30 damage, like guaranteed. And after that, it's just gonna be resetting back to neutral. With Orb, if I like miss a Sidelight, I can like cover my miss real quick with a just jump there. This move especially, like if you want to like not commit to like actually like going over there and hitting them, this is really good for just like throwing it out there, because they can't punish you. Like from where Boomie is at right now, he won't be able to punish me from like straight over here if I like didn't want to get hit. And
Right.
it's like
Oh, go ahead.
like that's another thing I like about this weapon is like how much like your moves can carry your like momentum, like how much you move around when you use this like kit. And that's like something that Axe kind of had too, which I really liked about Axe, was like being able to like move around with Sair and just like control the map. But with this like weapon, it feels like I can like not be in danger when I like try to play the way I want.
So
Yeah.
to try to summarize what you said there to me, it sounded like what you enjoyed about Axe was being able to move with like your movement was in tandem with your move set.
Yeah, I like being able to like move my weight around, but like with Axe, like it's like you can't really do that all the time against like a lot of weapons. So it's like you have to be like really safe with Axe. And then even when you are safe, if you like make one mistake at a top tier level, you won't notice until like top 16, like around that area.
Mhm.
That's when you notice that if you make one mistake, you can get capitalized so hard. Especially with like weapons that all it takes is one read. Like if I sidelight an Axe, then I get sent off stage, I dodge in once, my stock is like dead versus like a player with like a player against like Ethan, Sandstorm, Boomie. If I dodge in once I'm off stage, I'm just like done. With like this
Right.
weapon, has like so many good off stage options, like in my opinion. Like the Sair, the Dare, and then the recovery.
You know what, for the sake of it, because we didn't start it off this way, and it's just coming to me now, let's just generally talk about what Orb does, what each one of its moves are. If you're okay with starting us off that
Yeah.
way. And then Dobrein could fill in anything that he might think you're
Yeah,
missing.
I
So
might
start
be
with,
playing it like
oh, go ahead.
I might be playing it a different way than Dob plays it, but it's just like
That's
the way.
great.
Yeah, so like this is basically your like combo starter. Like
Call
Sidelight.
out the
Sidelight.
move as you're using
the
it.
Sidelight. Sidelight, your combo starter. You can go into Dlight, which sets up for the read. The Sair, which can kill. And then you have your Dlight, which is like hops over, and this one actually combos into stuff too, I'm pretty sure. Like it.
Oh, okay. So the Downlight's the jump kick thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this can combo into reverse nair because of my key bindings. You know, can't actually reverse nair.
It's tragic.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Is that something that you might? How many times have you adjusted your key bindings over your competitive career?
Never. I just
Okay.
one thing I ever did was take light attack to pick up off.
Okay.
That was about it. And then like
So that was a light neutral. Did you go over neutral light? I'm not sure if you did.
no, not yet. Neutral light. This isn't, in my opinion, this is a move that you will never use to like actually try to hit them with or like to approach with. This is just like to get off me tool basically.
So
And the hits
unarmed
like
nair or unarmed neutral
yeah,
light.
like if you see someone like approaching from the air or trying to get in, and like you're not sure what to do, you should just like end light, because that's literally what this move is for. Is just get off them.
Does Orb have any active input moves like Scythe? And it's neutral?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it just has the Dare, which is a special move. You can go straight down. You can do it on the ground, it'll bounce up. could also do it like on the edge where it can like spike the edge. Kinda, I guess.
Huh.
There's actually like, I think there's like one of the best moves on this kit though, just because like of how much you can like how many different uses it has to like mix up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think I'm trying to think of any neutral attack moves that do that to where, because the orb literally bounces off the ground and it's still active when it does that, right? So
Yeah.
you can use that as a way of catching people out of dodges or moves or continuing strings depending on the situation. There's a lot that you can do, and it rewards you for good spacing. And this is my opinion off of watching you play competitively. Part of the reason why I think that you succeeded so well on Axe as a weapon that's declining in favor in the eyes of a lot of competitive players is because of the attention to spacing that you have on that weapon and recognizing that if I miss this sidelight, I am doomed. So you make sure that you hit them most of the time.
Yeah.
I could see why Orb is appealing to you in that sense.
And then like another thing like that I really love about this move is it doesn't like commit you to movement. Like you're still right here. You're not being pulled down with the orb. That's so good because that means they have to come to you. Like they have to literally come to where you're doing the move at. They like don't. It's like you're so free.
And you could almost like stack a wall of those down hitboxes as you're holding yourself up.
This move is definitely punishable. Like when you like if I'm here, like it's punishable. But if I just like wanna like force them to approach me, then they won't be able to punish it. Like I can make them approach if I wanted to, basically.
Let's talk about ground pound and recovery.
Recovery is one of its better moves. Recovery, you can steer it. It can kill like pretty like decent health. Pretty
good. Is the steering like Gauntlet ground pound, or is the steering like?
I don't feel like it's really that strong, but like you can definitely like notice it. Like if you're like doing it, like you can tell like how you steer it. Like you can hold it in place, kind of. You can just go all the way. And like the weaknesses to this are just like when it ends, if they're above you, you're just gonna get hit.
It doesn't really go that far either.
Yeah. And then like the other one is the ground pound. I think this one is actually probably the worst one in this kit. It's like extremely slow. Recovery frames are like not really like enjoyable. It's
but you don't travel with where the weapon hits, so there's a decent amount of area between you and the hitbox.
Yeah, but it's like the hitbox is like so exact too, so where like if you miss it, like if Boomie was like right here and I did it right here, you could like definitely like you could punish me right there. You see that?
Oh yeah.
Because I'm stuck in the animation.
Oh, okay, that kind of put it into perspective.
Yeah, it's just like overall, it's like pretty slow.
Speaking of, go ahead.
Like it definitely hurts when it hits. It can kill early, but like other than that, it's like the weaker part of the set basically.
Does it have a splash hitbox when it hits the ground?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not that big.
And then I was thinking, speaking of small and precise, is this the smallest weapon throw? I think in the game it has to be, right?
Probably.
Like, it is. It's just a ball. I think that that's another weak part is that like your weapon throw game is just. Is it smaller than the bomb? It might be the same size.
Yeah, it's probably the same size.
So that's another thing to think about too. Weapon throw playstyles, at least by itself, are not going to benefit that much from the weapon. Well, that's very interesting. The character that you're playing in particular is Dusk. Talk about the signatures.
So like after playing him a lot, I'm realizing that his sigs, like okay, so like when I play a character, I look at their sigs at how they are individually and how they can combo into like with the actual weapon.
Okay.
So, like with Bryn, I could like do Sidelight, Nair, and Sig, which would cover like a lot of options. I feel like this character, his sigs mostly cover like very few options, but like individually the sigs are like mediocre to good. Like they're pretty good. Like this sig is pretty good. I feel like personally could use like a little bit more of a force buff. I also feel like this move will never kill on stage, but like what's really unique about it is it can spike.
Is that the down sig?
Yeah.
Yeah, the down sig, and then the side sig.
Oh, that's actually a really good angle for killing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even like early.
Yeah, it's especially since you're on Orb, you can like edge guard for free after that, basically.
It also
you have the upper hand.
Yeah, it also catches spot dodge. Like if you do it and I spot dodge, like
might be a hook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you spot dodge the beginning part and you'll still get hit by the secondary
that was
part.
a good example, the third
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
for sure.
And then you got the end sig.
That's the same kind of thing, I think.
Yeah. You catch a spot dodge.
Yeah.
I feel like
I didn't realize that it had that second property.
yeah, that's why like
Okay.
it's like I feel like his sigs individually they're like really good. I mean, I feel like they could like be like a little bit more buffed, especially this one. But then like when I play this weapon, I don't feel like when I'm playing Bryn where I could just like throw out a sig after a light attack at like higher health. Like after like 90 health, I don't think I can like safely do a sig. Like I can't do Sidelight, Dlight into like end sig because of like I don't really cover that many options. I might as well like go for an air
Mhm.
and then go for a read after that. It's like I don't like one of the biggest like things that like I can see like a Dusk player could have like weaknesses is just like his sigs. You won't really be using them to like combo that well at higher health. Just like you'll
Yeah,
be
but
using
you're
them
a Bryn
individually.
player. It's essentially the same thing, right? Besides like the spear
Actually,
neutral thing.
no, like with Bryn though, like Bryn and Sig can kill like that covers so many dodges that like and because like Nair has like not that much force, it can like actually kill. Same with side Sig. Like if they like dodge down away, you can just side Sig.
Yeah,
That's true.
He's talking about
Yeah.
X. So
Yeah, X basically.
Okay. Yeah.
speaking
Very
of sigs that you can just throw out like that, I think that's a good way to jump into
introduce them.
Fate.
What's
Okay, so Dobrein's introduction to Orb. That was great, Isidroo. Got a lot of good points up there with Dusk. I do want to like to close out on that though. Overall, you would say that Dusk's signature kit is lackluster, I guess. Like it's like
In the aspect if you want a character that can use his sigs to like combo in, like it's not a Mordex because like you won't use his sigs that much after like light attacks. More like they're like singularly like good. They'll like get the job done if you're like aiming to just hit the sig. Basically, I could feel like
Okay.
they could get buffed though. Like I don't think it would be a problem for them to get buffed.
They're like one-off sigs.
Yeah.
Okay, so
moving on to the next and newest legend, Scythe and Orb. Go ahead, Boomie, and Dobrein, take us away.
so you use Force. Is that intentional?
Yeah, so one of the like most problems that I encountered when I was playing Orb was just tough to kill everybody with. Like Dlight Sair is a good combo, but I believe Sair has least force out of any Sair in the game. Even Gauntlets has more force than Orb Sair. So I really want that force because like one of the things about defense and strength that like works for myself is that I expect to kill somebody and they're like, okay, like I'm gonna survive for one more time, or like I'm gonna survive, I don't know, for another minute. But with 8 strength, people just die out of nowhere, and this is satisfying. And I feel like most of them don't expect to die that early as well. So like you just NC and 140, oh, they're dead. So let's say like 140 from let's say Enigma right side, they're dead. And that's just because of force. But you also die pretty early because of 4 defense. So and I'm down to sacrifice 1 speed because all I need is really 6 speed. It's just like own preference. But she has lots of good stances. She has this stance is good. Then she also has the default stance is not bad either. But I just plan on preference to have more strength.
Would you say that what's the most valuable stat to have high at the moment? I feel like movement speed's up there for a lot of people.
Yeah, movement speed is definitely up there. Dex is you just want like the golden mean with Dex. You don't want it like to be like too high unless you're like Frax.
Yeah.
Like too low. You just want to have like 4 to 6 most of the time.
And she feels like she fits a lot of those. Like you can, if you want to, get it into that meaty 5 Dex range where you get a lot of options open to you.
Yeah.
And then just having high force and speed, you could pull out of those pools in either way, and it's not really going to change much of how you play. But like you said, you personally like that X factor of I just killed you early because 8 force. So going into the first game, talk a little bit about Orb and how you see it, as opposed to what Isidroo showed us a little bit.
No, for the most part, I agree with Isidroo. Ooh, this is nice. I agree with Isidroo, but so I don't feel like Orb itself is a good weapon. Like I feel like it's more like to the second half of like it's in a half of not as good weapons in the game.
The lower half.
But yeah. And another thing about Dusk, I played Dusk a lot as well on release and after Orb buffs before Fait got released. But now, for me, there's no reason to play Dusk. Like, not a single one. Because just Fate is just... Like, Fate is Mordex, and Dusk is Nyx, as an example, right? Not
Okay.
even worse than that. Like, that's that's what I feel like. And yeah, so Sidelight is a good move. Like, as a move itself, it's not that great in neutral, because it's, like, kind of slow. You're just gonna get like Sword Neutral Light, or I don't know, in face, or like Sword Downlight will beat it, stuff like that. It's kind of like comparable to in neutral once you get into Bow Sidelight. So Bow Sidelight's kind of slow too, but Bow Sidelight's still faster than this. Once again, also one of the reasons why it's not as good, it hits like super low, so people just jump away from it most of the time. Like, you're trying to catch a landing, and people just jump. Like, you see it like hits super low.
Oh, I guess Axe Sidelight has a benefit over that then, because it can catch people at a jumps like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a good combo. It's a good combo move. Like, you have Scythe there, you have Downlight, and you have good string follow-ups like this, and then you have just this as well on Fate. You have a lot of stuff. So, like, as a move itself alone, as a move itself alone, it's not that great, but because it combos and stuff, it's good. Like, on release day, it wasn't coming into everything. It was just terrible. So now it's not that bad. Downlight, you should say that it combos into reverse Nair, but it actually just combos into Nair. Like, so, well, it depends on speed, yeah, like that. Like, for now, I can combo it into Sair. I just have to jump right there. Then it all depends on angle as well. So it actually has like 4 hitbox or like something like that. So if you hit it with the first part, then they go upwards like that. If you hit with second part, then they go downwards.
Oh,
like
interesting.
So it's that inconsistency that you need to get used to in order to follow up your combos. But most of the time you can just nail, no matter what.
Okay.
And then let HPs you can say. But I like that move because it just jumps over a lot of stuff. Like Spear Neutralite, you can just do this and you're good to go. And it's a combo stat too on top of that. So it's a good punish. Then Neutralite, honestly, well, on Dusk I'd probably use it more, but on Fate, I'll tell you why later. I don't. I use like once a stock just for string follow-ups at White. So like at White, I can string it into chase dodge sidelight, which is like 2 dodge window. And because people are still unfamiliar with Orb, because it's kind of new, so nobody dodges it. So it's very good.
I mean, that's a small window. You have to be ready for that, like, immediately.
Yeah. So people not ready for it. People don't know timing. So I use it like only on White, once per stock. And that's about it. Like, this move is just okay. Like, this is not a bad move, but it's not a good move either, right? Then Aerial Kit is what's Orb is for. Like, down air is just one of the best down airs. Like, you can move so freely with it. On top of that, it has like three variations where you have handspring, you have bounce, you have the usual one. This one actually has more recovery frames, the aerial version. Which
interesting.
Is kind of interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, Isidroo was bringing that up too, about how he felt like he liked down air the most because of the freedom of movement that he has when the move is casting. You're not stuck with its attack necessarily, it feels like.
Yeah. Also, what I don't like about Fate, so down air at white HP is a combo into sidelight, right? But with 4 decks, it's 1 dodge window, sadly. But it's not as bad as it's like for Axe, Downlight, and Light. Right, so I'd rather go for so this would be 3 on 5 decks. You cannot dodge that 5 decks. On 4 decks you can dodge it.
So what does deck stance take away from? Is it defense?
Actually, it's probably defense, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, you don't want
going down to 3
like,
defense, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you just, I don't know, it's not as valuable. Like, just for this one combo to use at white HP.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Yeah, exactly. And then Sair is also one of the better moves because you can once you can just move freely. You can steal whenever you want. Like this is jump forward and this is jump backwards. Like just look at this. Like you can move so freely with it. I love it. And this whole sequence of down there and Sair is so hard to punish. Like you want to get in. So how do you wanna punish this, right? You wanna like get below it and punish it, right? But he's just Sair into your face. Like you're too late. You're just being slow. You just get Sair instead. And Sair is pretty quick for that too. And then on top of that, like it's in control of Orb player what you want to do. Then you can just jump away. Or you can just jump on them if they want to get below you and stuff like that. Right? So I like that about Orb Lord. Like this whole sequence of Fait and Sair is like super good. I like it a lot.
And it further what was it? It further cements Isidroo's comment on. It feels like I can do what he liked about X, which is apply his moves to his movements.
Yeah.
So I like that you're echoing that sentiment.
Yeah, I like that a lot too. That's true. And then speaking of Donner, how was my orb?
Okay, you'll find one. That's not an orb. There's an orb right there.
What I like about Donner is it bounces off the wall, which like creates insane edge cuts. So you can do like stuff like that. Like look at this.
I didn't even think about that.
You can react to this. Like this is so fast. This is how they do it.
Oh, and that kind of like, because we were talking a little bit about how like Orb suffers the most from its ground pound, but that can substitute its dash up ground pounds. Like you could just use down air instead, and you could do way more because you could Sair almost immediately after if that misses.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's about Nerf. That is just mediocre move. Like it doesn't have variable force. I think it actually does have like super low variable force, but most of the time you just want to use it as a sling move into like Sair or like in dodge punishes you want to use it as well, but like you're not gonna like I don't know kill from it or stuff like that because
it's not like bow neutral air at all then.
Well, yeah, it's not. It doesn't have that much variable force. So yeah.
Okay, so it just doesn't scale. Okay.
Yeah, it has like 5 variable force, I believe, which is.
Oh, that's
I don't know. It's just out of nowhere. Yeah, I mean that's all about air kit and ground kit. 6, right?
Yes, that's 6. The point that I've been looking for because I think she has the most unique signatures of all the legends that have been released recently.
Yeah, so this sig is like insane anti-air. This sig has insane priority, 21 active frames, active input, and you can't do anything about it. Like wins over like everything. Like any light attack you name, it's probably gonna win against. Probably not this actually. But like not Gaunt sideline, like the obvious moves. But most of the time, it's just gonna lose to like anything, and this is like crazy. It deals 25 damage.
And that's the down sig, correct?
Yeah, that's
the command grab in a sense.
Yeah. And that's kind of just kind of crazy. And on top of that, you can choose where you want to throw them. So, example, if you use it like here, you're just gonna throw them to the left, right? If you use it like here and you on top of the platform we want to show as well. You want to send them upwards. You're just gonna kill obviously earlier than you throw them like to the left side, right? So this is very good as well on top of that. And deals 25 damage.
That's not bad.
Want to use it.
That's almost as good as Zol's side sig.
Exactly. And then you have Orb down there to cover it. Like they want to punish it, you just jump down there and then gonna punish it. And then you just have Sair to cover it down there. Like, oh, this whole sequence is
Yeah, there's a lot of movement tracking for sure.
Just keep going. Yeah. Like you can just cover everything you want. Like they can get in.
Talk a little bit about the neutral sig.
Yeah.
Well, in the next thing.
Yeah.
I know that's exciting. I like. There's something with the neutral sig that I like that her Scythe has on side sig that I'd like you to highlight because I think even though like maybe it's not the best move in general, there's some interesting mechanics that Fait has outside of the active input that she gets out of her down sig.
3, 2, 1, brawl.
It's an sig, as I said before, it's one of the best 9 players. So People compare it to Modex and Sig and Scythe, which is a good comparison, right? But the thing is, yeah, I mean, nobody likes it already. So the Sig is, I believe, 3 frames faster. It jumps 5 frames earlier than Modex. It reaches further instantly, but it has 4 more recovery frames. But you still move downwards while you do that.
Isn't it
So,
where it hits also odd? Like, I don't think it. What am I trying to think of? When I was exploring Fate,
it hits very
you
low
hit really
too,
high, but like if he was jumping with you in front of you, I don't think it would hit him, right?
It would. Like, for example, yeah.
Yeah, like what's going on here? Why does that happen?
Yeah, because there's hitbox like right in front of you too. It would hit Axe Neutralite once again, as an example.
Okay.
So, like, barely hits on the ground. Barely doesn't hit on the ground. Yeah, this would hit as well, as an example. Then, I mean, it's just insanely good. See, like, any weapon you take, it's not even good just because it's orb. It's just good because, I mean, this thing is just
Can you jump out of it before you land on the ground?
Oh, of course you can. It's like you can jump way earlier than that.
Okay. That makes it really good.
Yeah, that makes it really good.
It makes it really good. And then on top of that, we have Dunk. So, for example, if Boomie is right here on the wall, right, and he sees me doing this, he's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna jump over it," and I'm like, "Well, fancy, bro." Like,
and if
for it, like the whole scenario, like you can't beat this with any side edge because it's like
spear,
bow, not. Let's say gun sider, like maybe spear sider, right? Like land sider is gonna just run into this, as an example, into Dancing, which is kind of crazy as well. And so you want to jump over it, right? Or you want to like perfectly punish it. So if he wants to jump over it, he just gets hit by this, you know. If he tries to challenge it, he just gets hit by this, right? This whole because like Fate works well, not because your Sigs are strong on its own, it's just because they work so well with each other as well. That's what I like about it. Alright.
Almost sounds like they're light attacks in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the have you showed up the side sig on?
No, as a side sig. So what's good about this sig is you like super high in the air. So for example, sword. I mean, any move Boomie will do right now, I'm gonna beat it with side sig. Besides like sig moves, I know I'm gonna beat that too. That's just just punish me. Like any move he does, I'm just gonna beat it with sig because I'm like floating above the ground and he can't do anything about it. You know, I'm just there, and it kills kind of early because you carry them with you. So for example, if I'm gonna use it, I lost my orb again. Okay, there you go. So for example, if I'm gonna use like here, yeah. So as you see, I'm carrying him with me, like Diana both sides, right? You carry them with you all the way. So it makes it so the final force ends up being like here, right? Instead of being here. So it kills a little early. And on top of that, it has this, which is which does not have a lot of variable force.
Was that an active input?
Yeah, the active input, the downwards active input. Which actually has like probably the least variable force out of like any Sig in the game, besides like Yumiko's, the obvious ones. Which I'm not really sure why. Because
look at that. Look at how early you can kill with that move, with how fast it travels. That would be ridiculous.
Yeah, look at Mordek's dancing.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying like we can see what happens when you do that. Let's not do that again.
So like at white you have string into Sair with 2-dash window, I guess, at completely white, and you want to use like on Twilight to send them downwards here instead of to the wall. And that's the only 2 usages I see. Yeah, that drops consistently, by the way.
Wow.
So yeah.
Also, you could use it to recover in a really weird way if you wanted to.
Yeah, not even in a weird way. It's just like good for recovery.
It's another way rather.
It's pretty neat. It travels far. Like that's.
Yeah. So that's another thing. For example, like like for example, I'm gonna dash in and side seek, right? But I'm gonna do the reverse one. He's never gonna punch dude anything. Like he just can't punch, like no matter what I do. It's same with I'm just going for the read. Let's say he's white, right? And I hit my neutral light here, and then I'm just doing this, right? If he dodges in, I'm gonna hit him, right? If he dodges away, he's never gonna punish me. Jumps away, he's never gonna punish me. I'm like here already. Like, he can't do anything bad because of the travel distance.
Wow.
That's another reason why it's so good. Also, on top of that, he's like bunch of active frames, so sometimes you can't even spot dodge that. Like if he's
depending on where you get hit by the move, you mean?
Yeah, if he's gonna be a little off with his spot dodge, he's just gonna get hit. He's
Like
definitely spot dodging right now.
Yeah, but that one time where he didn't, I saw exactly.
Yeah, like that, like that.
Yeah, that's a good example. Yeah. So that's pretty good as well. On top of that, then okay, well
and the Scythe.
Round up,
yeah, let's talk about the Scythe.
Round up your Orb 6, insane. It's like one of the best kits in the game. Like it's Diana Ball is insane. Modix Scythe is insane.
Modix Gauntlets is insane.
Yeah.
Mornix is insane.
Mornix is insane.
Yeah. But Fate's Orb is probably gonna be my top 3 for the kit. Then Scythe.
Yeah, go for the Scythe.
So Scythe is just mediocre in general, right? This thing is like it's mediocre compared to more decks or even.
What happens when you charge it?
Yeah, when you charge it, it has the actual hitbox finally. And this thing is not that bad if you charge, but it's just the fact that you charge it just makes it well. You just have more starter frames, right? Because you have to charge it for X amount of frames.
So you're saying that with all of her 6, besides the down sig on Scythe, so like with neutral and side, you have to charge it to get what you would probably consider as the full value out of it. Although I think the Scythe side sig is pretty cool. Charge and uncharged.
Yeah. But I was thinking about it, like, and so not to mention you don't gain any additional force by charging it, right? It's still always same force and always same damage, no matter what.
So it just changes where it hits.
Yeah, and timing, I guess. Like even this, like fully charged, is still worse than just Modix and Seek.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, so it's like not enhanced versions. It's rather just normal versions, you know, like this is not too bad, and this is good.
Okay, so you're saying
like that.
Instead of going from normal to strong, it's going from weak to normal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember the best one. Same with this. Alright. And Danzig is just terrible. It's terrible. It's disgustingly terrible. It's worse. It's just worst side sig in the game. It's just so bad. It's unbelievable. It has so many starter frames. You appear with your hurt box, just naked hurt box without any hitboxes. Then for like 6 frames you have dots, just dots of hitboxes. Like your hitboxes, they're so unbelievably bad afterwards.
Wow.
And then it kills at like 180 on top of that. Like,
okay.
What?
I'm starting to see Fate weaknesses. You're saying that Fate's Scythe
Look
is
at
not
this.
very crazy.
Look at this. I'm just here to get hit. Like,
Ooh, that's actually hilarious.
okay, I got in. God bless. Like, like this is just terrible. This is disgusting.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just bad. You just don't use it.
I just realized we didn't talk about Dusk Spear Sigs. If after this game we wanted to look at those really quick, and then like give like an overall recap of both his characters. Ooh.
Nobody said that anyway, so okay, sure.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, speaking of Orb, I could speak Orb forever, but let's just say that Orb damage output is insane.
Okay.
Like Orb has one of the best damage outputs. I think Gauntlets have very good damage output, Katarsh as well. But Orb is just you have good combos and good strings. Like you just have everything you want. And it's like you just get, and then you have wall combos. Like you never want to pick this map into Orb play.
Definitely not with the down air. Absolutely not.
Not damage, just the Dlight Sair combos off the wall. You're just gonna kill so early all the time.
Well, and also you could do some shenanigans with the
Platform.
island.
Yeah. Just camping with the
Yeah.
platform.
Let's take a really quick look at Dusk with the
Sigs.
Spear Sigs.
Yeah.
Because I think what was interesting is that at the start of your discussion on Fate, you were saying you don't know why you would ever pick Dusk over Fate, but I wanted to say, well, Isidroo's a spear player, and he plays he's an axe player, but Bryn is his primary. Spear is a huge thing, so that could be a huge support and comfort for him. So I wanted to see how the signatures on this weapon work as well. Take it away, Isidroo.
I actually think Dusk Sigs on Spear. I think they combo with Spear a bit better than the Orb Sigs, but like overall, I still don't think they're like anything special. I think they're
Okay.
pretty basic actually. Like, they can like catch a lot of stuff, especially at lower house.
Yeah.
At higher house, like one of my favorite things to do is like
Yeah.
I can read they're gonna dodge in. The end sig is one of like the best things you can do because it's on. Like I can do this. It catches dodge ins. It catches like I think it's like one of the best sigs in terms of like what it can catch. This is like pretty limited to what it can catch. I don't even think the sig is like that good. Like it's like such a like
Ooh.
weird hitbox. It's like
Yeah.
and like
Does it kill early at least?
I don't think so. I think it doesn't kill early at all.
No.
Thing is like if you miss
No,
this,
no.
if they like you have like so much space that just like you're like you have like no control over after missing the sig.
It reminds me of Rax Gun's down sig, but worse.
Yeah, basically. And then you
Oh,
have
that's a
the
good
side
example,
sig.
Yeah.
The
That's
side
right,
sig is actually I think the side sig and the end sig are probably the better sigs of this kit. This catches a lot and it can kill like I think it kills like at 170, 180, something like that. I didn't really check.
Well,
like,
I think it's in earlier, yeah.
Yeah.
I like the
Like-
word that you used to describe Dusk earlier, which was basic. Because that
Yeah,
was
it's
my
like-
general impression of his signatures too. It felt like when they were designing this character, they wanted to have people explore the character like Orb as a weapon, and then the
Yeah.
character's signatures as
They're
like
like individual.
as-
They're like they're just part of the character, not actually. They don't actually flow with like the
Yep.
weapons that much.
as opposed to what Dobrein was showcasing with Fate, where it looked like the
Yeah, it's
signatures
like
were like perfect
the
for Orb.
Complete opposite. That's what I play like. What's her name? Fate last night. It was like crazy. Like the amount of like power you have on Orb on that character. And like I think like in my opinion, what they should just do on like Orb for Dusk is just like buff the signatures individually, because that's like the strength they have is that individually they're like they have a lot of potential.
And that fits
So-
a playstyle like yours, where you're so spacing and read heavy, I think.
Yeah.
I think every time that I'm casting, my favorite thing to do is to say, Isidroo makes these horrible Bryn signatures, like the down sig on Axe, like actually work in game, and I don't get it, but he makes it happen. And that's your focus, I feel like. It's just like, these signatures stand alone as powerful options to use once or twice in a set, and when you use them, it'll work. And that's
Yeah.
why you would like Dusks to be a little bit stronger. You see the potential, but they're not
yeah.
there yet.
Yeah, like the aspect that he has is that his sigs are like apart from the kid, so I feel like that aspect should be like the thing that should get buffed from him, like aside from like Orb buffs. I think like once like Orb is out for like a little bit longer, people won't like see like a weapon that's strong, more of a weapon that like can get buffs and they won't like hurt like it won't make it like extremely broken if it gets buffs basically. I feel like it can like get buffs without like hurting like gameplay.
So you think Orb buffs and like Fate nerfs kind of?
Yeah,
Would
more
be
like
better.
Fate sig nerfs and then like Orb buffs.
Yeah.
That would make like Legends in the future like a bit more enjoyable with the weapon in general.
Oh yeah, imagine if Orb got nerfed and Dusk didn't get any changes.
Yeah, that'd be really
I don't
bad.
think I think it'd be like a waste of time to play this character. I feel like for me personally though, like if things stay the same after final round, like if Axe stays in the same spot it is, there's no point in me like keep like to stay on that weapon. I think I'm just gonna stick to this weapon just because of like the amount of freedom I have. Like I don't think this weapon is top tier, but like it fits like the way I play like pretty good. So
And to
I was-
further punctuate that, would you say that an Orb Axe Legend would be similar to Caspian, and how you were like, no way, I'm doing the same?
like unless like it had like really good sigs to like give it that little like push, but
Yeah.
otherwise it'd just be like legend where like if it's Orb Axe, where if you make a mistake, you're probably gonna get like hurt a lot. So unless it has like Sigs to cover up for that fact, or to strengthen the play of like using Sigs to read into your kit, then I wouldn't play it. So I hope like if they do release the Orb Axe, I hope it has like Sigs like Fate.
I hope every character has Sigs like Fate.
I hope they keep releasing. I actually really like Fate. I hope they keep releasing like characters that like Fate, so that like characters like Mordex at a top tier level can hopefully just cancel out. Like,
So that there's like competition, you mean?
yeah.
Rather than like just Diana,
yeah,
Mordex.
there's not like just 1 or 2 broken characters, but there's like 6 or 7. And they all have like broken stuff, so it won't matter which one you play. Yeah.
Well, that's great. I actually think that really well defines some initial impressions for Dusk and Orb. On top of that, I don't think there's like too much more I would want to go into in terms of like depth theory for the weapons. But if anybody in this call besides me would like to spar a game, Orb versus Orb, to end the podcast, I think that'd be pretty sick. I'm not sure who would be appropriate, 'cause I know that Dobrein's in Russia, but it's not like it's for anything. It's just to kind of show the spectating.
Connection, the game server failed.
Yeah, it's because we're making a new one.
Tragic. I mean, we kind of were doing that, just like...
That's true. So we don't have to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we could just send it off now.
Because I think that was actually, we went around the time that I was expecting to take it up, and that was a ton of theory on Orb. And I'm hoping that at least with the 2 conversations and perspectives that I got from both of you guys, that it will give some people some ideas on how to approach the weapon and what they can do with it. I really thought that we touched a lot on like how to begin looking at the weapon and using it competitively, and hopefully we'll see a little bit of it at Final Round. I know all 3 of you are going to Final Round. That's coming up in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Now, you don't have to say whether or not you're representing the legends that you showed today, but I would like some opinions on like is Orb going to be seen by any? Do you think that it's going to be pulled out, or do you still think it's too soon?
Well, you can go ahead.
Go.
Okay, I'll go.
Okay.
Well, I think Dobrein's definitely gonna play it. I think he's committed too hard at this point to go back.
I'm going Fate.
And
That's exciting.
Apart from Dobrein and then maybe Isidroo if he commits, I don't think we're gonna see any Orb at all.
Okay.
But I expect good performances from both of them. Maybe Dobrein less, because his bracket's really hard.
I've got Dobrein up there. It is a hard bracket. He might have to fight Daiku. We don't know what's going to happen there.
Dobrein's bracket is like one of the hardest that we've ever seen. And then
aren't you starting off LDZ if everything goes according to what we saw?
Yeah, in post finals.
Wow.
Yeah,
I think.
So
like for me, like I've been like before Dusk, I was playing Ragnar a lot. The thing was, I was playing it against like top players and not players I would see in bracket. And so like what happened at Winter Champs was I played Ragnar, and then like throughout the tournament, I felt like really uncomfortable on him. Like I played Dargul and I almost got 3-stock when I was on Ragnar. I switched to Bryn, and then it's like the other way around where I'm the one like almost 3-stocking him. With Santi, I like play Ragnar. I like barely win game 1. Then like in my head, I'm like I should switch off because I know I can win with Bryn. But then I stay on Ragnar, so I go game 2 Ragnar, I lose on Ragnar, and I like panic and switch on to Bryn with like no time to actually adapt. So it's just like I go in blind with Bryn and I lose, and I just like set off my game for the rest of the tournament. So like what I think I'm gonna do for like future tournaments is like, especially for Final Round, I'm definitely gonna play Bryn up until a certain part where I know the player matchups and the weapon matchups better, and then like I'll probably play Orb like around like top 16ish or top 8ish.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, I actually like that train of thought.
Yeah, so it's like I'll probably like start off Bryn, and then if like game 1 goes really bad, I'll definitely switch over to what's his name, Dusk. And then like after Final Round, if things stay the same, there's no point in me to continue playing Axe. It's not in a favorable spot to win. So
I think that opinion's being echoed by everybody generally. I know Boomie was the first to be the loudest.
Yeah.
About Axe, at least in my opinion. He was just kind of like, yeah, that weapon sucks. Doesn't matter that it's getting results. It sucks.
Yeah.
And that's worrying to me to hear that from somebody who has been known as the Axe player. is there something that you think could be like a quick fix that X could get that could maybe help it a little bit more? Or is it like in a position where like the weapon itself, like as an archetype, is always going to struggle?
I feel like it can like be buffed to a point where it's not as bad. Like I feel like definitely like I feel like it should have less recovery time on miss on most moves.
Mhm.
Like not a lot though, because obviously it's Axe, it should be slow. But like not to the point where like if you miss one attack, you're getting like 100% guaranteed 30 damage loss. So like one of my like original ideas was to add when Dash first came out, Dlight had lunge, and that was like really like cool because it wouldn't matter that you had like the recovery frames because you would have like the lunge, which would like its own little strength. That was something that I really wanted back, or it was just like remove recovery frames from the Dlight it has right now, and then just like take away the Nair stun nerfs because I think they throughout the year of 2018, I think they took away like 20.
You talked about that.
Yeah, I don't know
just
why.
slowly trickled off all of its power until it just was nothing.
I think they should like revert some of that and then add like startup frames to Dlight so Dlight Nair Dlight isn't true, and then like remove recovery frames on Dlight so like balances out. Like just like the little tweaks to make it like more enjoyable to play at a top level because right now it's like if you do one thing wrong, it's like you can just like kiss your stock away, basically.
Well, that's interesting to hear, and it's, at least like I like that because these things have happened. Actually, you notice them. You are exploring other options. I'm really excited to see when you get to that point. Like you said, you're more comfortable with the players that you're fighting against. We might see that, Dusk. So, to punctuate the first episode of Dlight Sair, first official one, we talked a lot about Orb. You can expect to see all of the players here and personalities and me at final round coming up in 2 weeks. That's going to be, I think, on around March 15th.
Yep, 15th to 17th.
We might get some Orb gameplay in that tournament. It's going to be very exciting. Our guests have been Dobrein. You can follow him on Twitter at DobrainBoo and Isidroo. At
Isidroo GB.
I have been Taza. It's been excellent to be able to host this podcast. We'll be having another episode at the same time next week. Boomie, sign us off.
Yep, follow me on Twitter at BoomieXD, and goodbye. Thank you for watching.